Welcome to Texas Truck Channel. I'm Brian.
I'm Craig.
And we are at Toyota Jamboree. As you can hear, might be the best gen. Really might be. And we've got the GX550. We've had it on loan from Lexus this week. And we've also brought our Tacoma out. So there's off-road content on both of these coming. If you haven't already seen it, subscribe, you'll get it all. But we're gonna talk about the GX. We're gonna talk about the superstar of the show. We've been stopped everywhere we've gone with this thing and they're going, is that the new GX? No, it just says 550 on the back. But yeah, it's been fun and it's performed very well. It's interesting to see the mindsets between the pickup and the SUV, the 4-cylinder and the V6. And we've driven the hybrid as well before. This package is special. I don't know how else to put it. This is the Overtrail trim. And I do have a couple things I'm not crazy about just for me personally, but I'm in love with this package. It's really impressive. So let's talk about the nose. This is not a jab at all, but I parked next to a older Highlander the other day, and this line right here in particular is identical, and I just can't not see it now. It's not a bad thing. I just think it's interesting to see the heritage of the company being shared. Skid plate, plastic, metal, okay? One thing I'll comment on the off-road, and you'll see the videos on that, we drug that a little bit because it is there, but it's metal where it counts. So it's protected from the factory. Coming onto the side, beautiful Lexus paint and some mud on it, but let's talk wheels and tires. These aren't 22s, 21s, or 20s. These are 18s. 265/70 open country ATs, AT3s, the same tire that the future 4Runner will run. And let me tell you, off-road, this is a good tire. It gets it done, it bites well, it's good in the dirt, and it's quiet enough on the highway that you don't feel like you're in an all-terrain. So good job, Toyo, happy with that. Also, see this blue right here, Greg? This is a phenomenon with brand new tires that find mud for the first time. We figured that out with the Polaris a year ago on their rigs, and now it happens to us all the time. We take press cars that get muddy, that's what happens. Happens to our truck too. Coming down, big boxy side mirror, very similar to the Land Cruiser, which this is sharing almost everything with Land Cruiser, so this is it. You got a proper step down there, and it is not a rock rail, but it does have some protection to keep the door
And we maintain
safe.
The golden ratio.
Golden ratio, 112.2, that's the magic thing that Toyota shoots for. They've got it covered. Up top, because it's Overtrail, you have a proper roof rack. Something else I want to point out, get further back, look at this gap. Look at the gap up front. This has overload springs in the rear for higher payload. And let's show them the payload real quick. We're already right here. 1,500 pounds, 1,545 pounds. That is higher on the Overtrail specifically.
It also tows 9,000 pounds.
That's a lot. So if you're bringing trailers to off-road with, if you're bringing equipment, this thing's designed and has such a rake in the suspension. It needs a rooftop tent or slide outs or whatever to get it where it needs to be. And that's pretty cool to give you something out of the box. I followed this truck a lot on trails this weekend, and I gotta say, I am in love with the look of this. It looks modern, it looks walky,
look good, yeah.
But it still looks like it's meant to be out here.
Right.
It doesn't feel out of place at all. Rear spoiler, traditional rear wiper, tow package and cover, and a nice tucked up tailpipe. Let's see what that sounds like. I love you some cylinders. It sounds good. I'm happy with that. Let's see what's happening up front. All right, guys, hop under the hood. Ooh, we have struts on this. That is a nice welcome addition. Really happy with that. And lots of covers. If you've seen a Tundra, you've seen this engine before. Twin intakes, twin turbocharged. I love the symmetry that you get under the hood of this thing. It's good for 3.4 liters, 349 horsepower, and 479 foot-pounds of torque. That is no slouch. It's paired to the 10-speed auto, which can be lazy even in sport mode sometimes, and that's relative to some other things in the market, but it is always smooth and never hiccups. It's the mantra for Lexus, it fits it perfectly. Behind that is a full-time all-wheel drive transfer case with low, and because we're an Overtrail, we have center, which is standard, and rear locking divs, which is standard on Overtrail as well. To the interior.
All right, let's check out the interior of the GX550 Overtrail. This thing is awesome. Brian mentioned the payload, and well, we're testing it out this weekend. Let's see what we got. First things first is we got a really cool high ace right there.
Yeah.
Some BFGs, but we got the split window. Love this, just like the old GX460. And we got a lot of gear in here. Automatic tailgate, which is really nice. Brian, you may notice it's very flat right here. There's not a hump up because this is not a hybrid. So because it's not a hybrid, we get more of a flat floor. It does mean we don't get 2,400 watts back here, but we do get up to 400 watts. Not terrible, although you can't do a whole lot with that. But you can see plenty of room for all our gear here. When you fold those seats down, I can't do it now because we got a lot of gear in there. They don't fold flat, so there's a little bit of a hump. But what they do is they fold forward, and then you can strap them to the armrest or the handholds. One person can sleep in here comfortably. Our crew member did on this trip. Let's move to the second row. All All right, moving on to the second row, Brian, let's check out the door. It's padded, the door sill is padded, and I like how the window cuts down. You can see out very nicely, kind of Land Rover-esque. You get this nice little green inset. I love that a lot. I wish, I'll be honest, that's a bold move to put green in an interior. I wish they were bolder and put it more in the interior, but that's okay.
Big fan of
nice
that.
room for bottle holders down in the door, and then the seats themselves are very comfortable. You get a center folding armrest, and you got a bunch of crap in here like we have right now. We're testing the payload out in this thing, like I said, but you get grab handles everywhere too. That's really nice because it's very Land Cruiser-y.
By the way, on all four, I like that a lot.
And of course you get rear vents back here, rear AC, which is very nice, and plenty of room. Let's move to the front though. All right, moving on the front, same thing with the door. It's padded, it's very nice. And then you get a padded armrest. Door pull does not pass through, so you can actually put a phone in there, which is really nice. And there's that nice, neat green inset, and a nice room for your bottle holder down at the bottom. I love that the Overtrail gives you these floor mats, these rubberized floor mats. We have a TRD off-road in our Taco, and we have carpet, and we've got those things really muddy on this trip. This is nice. We can just knock them out, not a problem. Let's start this bad boy up and show the people what we've got, because this is a comfortable ride and very smooth. But this is a great interior. There's a little bit of controversy here between this particular spot and here. So our same platform as the Tacoma next door to you, Brian, TNGA-F platform. But Brian, we measure the distance between here and there because you notice your knee was hitting this more so than you notice in the Tacoma. It actually is a half an inch narrower.
More than an inch narrower.
It's an inch narrower, so between here and there is an inch narrower. And also this right here, you can see almost this pad right here. This is actually 2 inches taller, almost 2.5 inches taller. So it sits up and higher, kind of where Brian's knee hits. Doesn't affect me at all. I'm 5'9", Brian's 6'4".
Yeah, it's
I didn't have
a problem.
It's just, this is why we say put your butt in the seats to make sure you like it. Just something to look out for if you're a taller person.
And that's the only reason we're bringing it up, because this is a phenomenal, don't think I don't like it. I just noticed that I'm like, oh, it's kind of funky because the console's so tall. It's just me.
Brian's a little whiny, but y'all know that. Y'all subscribe to this channel and y'all know that by now.
From Craig. It's okay.
So I will notice one of the other things is it sticks out here and then it just stays straight. So one of the things that the Tacoma does is it cuts in. We call it the Sheldon cut. And this doesn't get the Sheldon cut. Sheldon Brown's the chief engineer of the Tacoma, and he wasn't on this. But let's move on down to the center cluster. We get the nice infotainment, which works well. CarPlay, we get the Apple CarPlay on, and we've been using the Gaia Maps, which has been really handy on this trip. Auto climate control and the concierge and everything that's tied to the seats and the steering wheel, which is really cool. And then down here though, Brian, you get a lot of cool things. We have all the drive modes. So you got normal drive modes, and you can select, normal, Sport Plus. If you want to send it Sport Plus, Sport S Plus, that's a lot of fun. I'll just tell you that. Your mileage will drop. You hit MTS, Brian, and then you get a whole set of other drive modes. You get dirt, sand, mud, deep snow, auto. We just kind of left it in auto the whole trip, and it did flawlessly. And then along with that MTS, then you can do crawl control, which does work in 4 high and 4 low. It's a little, sometimes it's kind of weird to activate. You just got to get used to it. One of those things. And then, yes, Brian mentioned outside the car, 4 auto all the time. So we get high 4, and then 4 low, which is really nice. The GX550s come with center locking, but they don't all come with this button right here. That's the reason they get the Overtrail. Saved our hiney in one particular spot, and we were very happy to have that. That said, this is just a comfortable spot to be, Brian.
Yep.
Anything else to say about it? I mean, that's pretty much it.
Let's drive it. 0 to 60, dude. Let's go. All right, Craig, it's about that time. We've swapped roles because you're so in love with this thing.
Yes.
I want to remind our viewers we're using a race box for 0 to 60, and we're not on a perfectly level road, but it does compensate for incline based on weight of vehicle. It'll be as accurate as we can get in the real world. We're not Motor Trend. So, with all that being said, when we have a gap, we are going to launch out and go for it. All right, Craig, 3, 2, 1, hit it. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Sport S Plus, 40. 50, extra noise in the cabin, 60.
Got it. Okay, look, 0 to 60 with both of us.
And a lot of gear.
We are loaded down for overlanding with this.
Yes.
7.03.
Okay, that's really good. So,
Yeah.
and it actually seems to be right where it should be, because
it's
we've seen magazines and other publications and outlets get 6.5.
Right, and
that's on a
I believe that
prep servers, got a lot
sure.
of stuff in it.
We literally still have mud on the tires right now.
Yes,
like I can hear it flinging off, so it's doing its job. We just left Jamboree, so that's how that goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, a slightly different format on this video because we are cramming everything in this weekend to get it done, but we can't forget the GX and all of its glory.
Yes.
And
we talked about this last night at camp when we were at the Jambo. We found a nice little spot. We were talking about all the wonderful TNGA-F platforms that have come out from Toyota.
There's
name them all off. Can you name them all off real quick?
Tundra, Sequoia, Tacoma, 4Runner, Land Cruiser, GX.
Oh, LX600.
Oh, LX600, that's right. That's in the US.
Yes.
That's the stateside versions. There's 7 of them total.
Yes. And Brian, one of the things that we kept kind of going back to is this is kind of a Goldilocks sweet spot out of those, in that what's so special about it compared to all those is that you get all the headroom of like the Land Cruiser, but you get the non-hybrid turbo V6, which we love. It's velvety smooth.
Oh yeah.
It's got all the power. You get all the comfort, but then you get all the off-road capability and payload.
Yes, payload is a big deal. So the payload in this is 1545, I believe. Our Tacoma is 1200. This has 300 pounds more payload. I'm impressed, and part of that is, and they're not even like trying to hide it. The rear springs are taller than the front. They just are, because it has this huge
on the
rake
Overtrail.
On the Overtrail, because the non-Overtrail is relatively level. It's got a slight rake, but anyways, I just think it's so cool that there is a purpose-built trim of a Lexus for overlanding. It's just cool. You get the locker, you get the better wheels and tires, you get 18s instead of big 20s, and you get the payload. What other brand is doing that?
And that's exactly it. You've nailed it. That's I think why it was getting such a reaction at Jambo was because it took a lot of balls for Lexus to build this thing, because historically Lexus is like, nah, it's a mall cruiser. We know it's capable, but we're just going to give the people what they want, just let them be mall cruisers. No, they're like, no, people are actually doing overland stuff with these. Let's give them an overland version. And they didn't just mail it in and make it a sticker package.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So I want to bring one more thing back. One, this was an absolute celebrity at Jambo. Maybe even more than Tacoma Beast himself. We could not film a take without someone going, "Is that the GX550?"
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is what it is.
And then they couldn't believe it was out on the trails doing trail stuff. And it did all of it.
Yeah. Everything we did with our Taco, now we took it easy. It's a press car. We did not want to scratch anything. We're being delicate with it in terms of that stuff. But it proved its capability in its traction management and its lockers and its tire.
And comfort.
And comfort.
Look, this is the classic Land Cruiser Overlander type vehicle where, look, you want to get somewhere remote with all your gear and relative comfort. Yeah. This is going to do it.
Oh, and I'd say very comfort, except for my knee and that console.
Fair enough.
The only single complaint on this for me, and I'm being picky, it's a hell of a machine. I'm so glad that it exists. Good job, Lexus. I didn't see this coming from them. Trailhunter from Toyota, yeah, of course they're doing that. I'm just so glad they leaned into this. Good job. That's all I would say. Oh yeah, one more thing. It rides really well off-road, better than our Tundra does, because it seems to have a lot more shock travel from the bump stop. So that works too.
And then also rides well on road, so it's not like it's real wallowy either.
Right,
so
there's none of that going on.
Yeah, good combo. With that, Brian, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know if you like the GX550 Overtrail. Of course you do, that's why you're watching this video. But would you get a different trim for a particular reason? I don't know, let us know.
Thanks for watching.